Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying the talk so far. Some wonderful talks, right? And as JB mentioned, I'm here to talk about security in the age of AI. I know, like how she mentioned, you are also thinking, okay, another person talking about AI, riding the AI wave, the buzzword. Trust me, I was there too, thinking the same thing. But it is becoming a reality in our world today sooner than we anticipated, right? Do you feel that way? It's growing so fast, everything around us is becoming, okay, the word is there, but we are also using it in our daily life, right? So it's now becoming very important for us to see, okay, why is it growing so much? I'm going to talk about the market growth. What are the risks, vulnerabilities, and threats it is bringing into the market? And then also, what can we do to help ourselves and our organization to be better prepared? A little bit, right? So I'm not going to do a whole philosophy around it, but touch a few basic points, the hygiene, the foundation of it, so that, we all think along, okay, what can we do in this age of AI? I forgot my clicker, so here it is. So, like I said, there is definitely a AI explosion, right? So, we were using algorithms in one way or the other in our daily life, at our organization, in our work. But currently, there is a major shift in enterprise priorities. What we see is the organization that are using AI has grown from 33% in 2023 to 71% today. And if the prediction are to be trusted, it is just going to be doubled in the next 5 years. You can see it around us, right? Not just AI. Our world has become so digital, from you doing your shopping, ordering food, making appointments. Everything is digital. Last week, I was at a conference, another conference, where we had our booth there, PwC booth, and we had all these swags like how you keep it also here, right? You can see we had bottles, charging cable, diaries, pens, everything. And guess what? At the end of the day, the diaries and pens were still laying there. And everybody were like, we take notes digitally, we don't need them, right? So it's that common in our life. And we don't give a hoot about it anymore because that's the evolution that we have seen. And also coming back to the statistics, the organization now are investing more and more, right? They want to include AI in everything, in their businesses. They want to adopt it. They want to power their products with AI. They want to support their business operations with that. They also want to make it as part of their decision making. So it becomes important for us to be better prepared. Like I said, we should have anticipated this better and prepared ourselves yesterday, but I think better late than never, and let's see what we can do about it. So you say, okay, there is AI growth happening, the market is exploding with AI. Why should I be worried? In general, you see the attack surface is ever evolving. The attack surface is ever expanding. Think about this. In the past decade, the major change in the IT industry was cloud migration, cloud transformation that we had seen, right? To be honest, we are still grappling on how to manage the risk that were introduced by this. Organization, when they are moving to cloud, they think, okay, is it a lift and shift approach? What do we do about it? But no. When we do any change, there is a change in the risk, area that comes along with it. And the same is with AI now. We are looking right in the eye of AI explosion, meaning we will have unique vulnerabilities and other set of risks that we need to focus on. Because how AI processes information is different than how traditional software used to do it. That's why it becomes key for organizations to think about it in a different way and be prepared to manage it in a better way, let's say, and not do it in a traditional way. And And AI, when we talk about AI, it's just not one part, right? There is traditional AI, there is embedded AI, there is Gen AI, and all of these you have to look at in a different lens. Let's talk about embedded AI. So what it does is, it brings the intelligence to the edge, right? So the processing happens at the system. So it is not sending the data to another server to do the processing and get the outcome. No, it does it at the center of the system, and it is embedded in the workflow, making it very important for us who are utilizing AI to look there rather than looking at, okay, where is it going? So in general, what's happening? There is large data sets. They are interconnected to sensitive data. And there is less or no human intervention to validate all of this. So that's why we have to look into the high impact threat areas that AI is introducing. So do I have your attention that, okay, AI is real and it is impacting our real life? Or is it still a buzzword in your mind? Okay. So, what are the key vulnerabilities that we should look at, you may ask, right? So, like I said, businesses are adopting AI in their products. Think about your speakers. Think about Alexa, the Google Home, everything. It has AI embedded in it. Then organizations are using it to support their business operations. They are using it for decision making. Think about your co-pilots. They are supporting you in operations. Think about Copilot for security, which is helping you in decision making. So there is an influx of AI in our day-to-day life, and it brings in new set of risks, right? And what are those common things? Common risks include adversarial inputs, right? So what it does is, it tampers the AI model itself and provides you with incorrect data, and or sometimes also leaks sensitive information. There is also data poisoning that happens, which sometimes tampers with the training data and in the end gives you flawed outcomes. For an example, imagine a stop signal. You're driving, there's a stop signal. On that signal, there is dust, there are some random stickers, and you're driving your car. But you still notice that signal, and you're careful at the intersection. You stop, look around, and then drive. No harm. But imagine now there's a self-driven truck driving there. The model is not trained to see it as a stop signal. Because of the noise around it, it just drives past. And then you can imagine what the outcome is. So this is just one example of adversarial input in real world. Then there is data poisoning. Think about this, that you're, interacting with a chatbot. You are asking for you're giving some, let's say, which is a good example I'm thinking now. So you are asking for what is a good outcome of this, let's say, attack with Copilot. Then it, instead of giving you the reason, it gives you the architectural diagram of the organization, meaning the training data was tampered with and it triggered the outcome of this with, say, give me what happened with this incident. So we have to be very careful with these kind of attacks or vulnerabilities, and understanding these will take us some time, and we have to work on managing the risk that arises from this and how to have the mitigation plan in place. When I'm talking about this, again, making my story that this is not a buzz, this is actually happening, I want to share with you a couple of real-life incidents, the active campaigns that happened to exploit AI vulnerabilities. You might have heard about this year, because the examples that I'm sharing are of 2025, so they are very fresh. Some just closed, mid-summer this year. The one that maybe rings a bell is regarding the MCP inspector. Anybody? No? I think the developers in the group might recognize MCP inspector. So it is the backbone of backbone for the AI developer engine. So it was released in the end of 2024 as an open standard, and then soon the AI developers, adopted it to connect AI systems into internal data. While it is helping the AI developers very much, what it does is it has a very critical bug of remote code execution. I have to say had, because it has been patched now, like we do once we see the vulnerability, it is patched. So it had that, and what it did is it allowed attackers to run arbitrary commands whenever the AI developers visited the malicious site, because there was no correct input code validation, and also not a correct way to do unauthorized access checks. This is the problem with all the AI systems, not all, most of the AI systems that we have, that all of them lack proper access controls. But this is one of the examples, right? So what it did is, like I said, this remote code execution vulnerability allowed the attackers to steal data, to install backdoors, and then also execute arbitrary commands. And also I think it was able to run and download botnet onto the compromised servers. So but what can the developers do, right? Because they were using this to connect into the internal data, and that was making their life easier. But this happened. And this active campaign was identified, researched, and then put into the vulnerability database with known exploits. And now it is patched. Everybody can, work with it again. Not a problem. Then the similar case was with Langflow. Anybody that recognizes Langflow? So this is the Python-powered visual framework for developing AI applications, and this is on GitHub with 70,000 stars. So it's not something that, is a up-and-coming framework. No, it is there for a long time. And prior to the current version, it had a flaw also for input code validation. And it could also allow arbitrary commands to be run with a post request to the server. So what did it do is, it did not enforce input code validation. There was no sandboxing, meaning that the payloads were used to run these commands and also execute the Flodrix botnet on the compromised servers. Again, this was an active campaign that was going on until, I think, August this year, and it was identified, put on the database, the exploits as known exploits for this vulnerability, and then it was improved to the current version, and hopefully there will be no vulnerabilities, but at the moment there is none. So, some progress there. That is my case for, to explain that this is not something, it's not just a buzzword, it's real, it's happening, and it's just a matter of time that it becomes more and more critical, because we are embedding it in our daily life, in our operations, in our organization at a very rapid pace. So, all good, what can we do about it, right? So, why is it so important? AI system in general processes data differently, like I said, as compared to traditional softwares. So what it means is there is a major lack of transparency and accountability. Most of these models work as black boxes, meaning that the internal workings are not known to people, or it's not visible. I know I spoke to a vendor like few years ago who was doing something like SOAR, and then I was like, okay, why is it doing this? Why is it doing this? What is the algorithm behind it? And they're like, we don't know. And that's the reality, right? In most cases, the AI teams, the developer itself, sometimes are not able to explain why certain decisions are being made because it's a black box. And then what happens is this introduces a greater lack of visibility for risk management. Imagine this. Currently, we know what's happening in our traditional environments, and still we are struggling to manage the risk. If we do not know what is the risk behind it, if we do not have visibility, how do we do it? So currently, there is lack of, let's say, best practices and security standards that we can follow to make our environment safer, right? So what we are doing currently with traditional softwares, we are saying, okay, develop secure by design. We are trying to enforce it. There are a lot of frameworks which we can follow to do that. But AI is being developed at such a rapid pace that the governance policy around it is lagging behind a little bit. But not being all pessimist over here. We have still few frameworks that we can rely on. And mind you that these are not standalone frameworks. These are complementary. Doesn't mean that if you use one, you cannot use the other. It all works together and there's a synergy for it. So talking about NIST AI risk management framework. So it has 4 core functions: govern, map, measure, and it says, okay, how to manage the AI risks that are coming out of it. So it's a wonderful framework to follow to create a basic foundation. Then the Google Safe, what they did is they expanded their current framework to include the risks that are emerging from AI. So that's another framework that is a good one to adopt and follow in the organization. Then there is MITRE, of course. So you might have worked with MITRE ATT&CK, defend. So now we have Atlas. So what it does is imagine the same kind of tabular thing, lot of techniques, tactics that can be used, what threat actor uses which technique. And currently there are about 60 techniques that can be tested for. So it's a good framework to also adopt. And then there is, of course, one from ENISA. So like I said, these frameworks work in synergy. It's best to look at them together and see how the current security posture is in your organization. Okay, those are about frameworks. Now coming to my core is, defense. So that is what I do at PwC. I focus on the cyber defense practices of it. So the SIEM, the defenders. Yeah, that's my day-to-day work, let's say. But where is the SOC going, right? So we say, okay, everything is becoming AI, and that's true also for Security Operations Center. By 2027, it is predicted that 60% of security operations will be agent-based. So it is called agentic SOC. And that is coming real soon, real fast. And we as cyber professionals have to, keep ourselves updated as well. So what does AI-powered cyber defense or agentic SOC look like? So agentic SOC is a lot of agents working together, and human analysts are acting as a pilot overseeing all the operations. So there won't be a lot of analysts requiring to look at the screen and make decisions, etc., etc. Of course, we took away the L1 analyst couple of years ago with the introduction of Copilot for Security. At least that's the goal, right? So to focus on more actual threats or actual analysis. So with agentic SOC, that's the final ambition that is happening. There are multiple agents working together. Think about a threat intel agent, think about analyst agent, think about responder agent. So everybody is working together. And then there is autonomous detection. So it analyzes the behavior, what's happening, what's wrong, where is the anomaly coming from, and then there is detection based on that. We do currently at some level at each cyber defense department, I assume, autonomous detection is happening, but this will be more and more. And then there is predictive defense. This is very important. I would take a minute or so to explain this, because what is predictive defense? What we are currently doing is very reactive. Okay, an attack has happened. Now we do compromise assessment to see where has it come from, what happened, what is target, patient 0, where did the lateral movement happen, etc., etc. But with predictive defense, the idea is that you have an overview of your estate. There are graphs, imagine graphs that from this point, this system is integrated with system A, system B. It can go this way. So let's say the autonomous detection has detected that there is some kind of access on system A. Then the predictive defense, what it does is, okay, this system is connected to system A and system B. So there are only 2 ways to go. So which system should I focus more on to do the automated response? So think that this system connected to system B is then connected to your SAP system or your crown jewel service. Then you can take the response on system B and come to system A at a later stage. So this is predictive defense. So creating like a graph and predicting where the attacker can next go, and then prioritizing, okay, what is important for you and where should the response be taken. And then you can also automate the response, saying, okay, if you have seen attack on the patient 0, then you take response on system B. Maybe, you disconnect it from the network or so on and so forth. So you can create those response playbooks as well and automate it. So that is the future. And this was also, I think, this is the story that major vendors are coming up with: the unified platform, the agentic SOC, and predictive defense. So I think this is the area that we should focus on going forward. So this is one way of using also AI for the benefit of us, so that we can be better prepared to defend against AI, because attackers are anyway doing it, right? So they are using AI to exploit AI threats. We have seen that there is a surge in AI-assisted attacks. 75% of the phishing attacks this year were AI-assisted, if I'm not wrong. And coming back to our first talk, awareness, I think that is important to also create awareness regarding this, that, there is AI-assisted attacks, and it can look way different, way mature, way sophisticated than what we have been seeing, and then change the behavior later. So that's a bit of how I look at it, because there needs to be awareness. Otherwise, you will change behavior in a direction that is, probably not relevant. Then what are the practical defense strategies, right? So I'm not telling anything new here. These are the same strategies that are in place, but we have to look at it in a different angle, that's all. So it's basic hygiene, basic cyber hygiene, basic foundation that needs to be in place, but in a different way. What I mean by that is threat modeling. So I assume we are all doing that. But what can we do with AI models? So like I said about the major challenge being adversarial input, what we can do is train our AI models with this adversarial data in the beginning, so that it gets used to, saying that this is not right. And it is not something new it experiences when it is in a real life situation. And the same with secure development practices. We say for traditional softwares, for traditional development, we use this secure by design. We need to do that for AI development as well. But the major thing that we need to look at is the unauthorized access that is happening at APIs and endpoint level, because that's where the major vulnerability today is for the AI models. So we need to do this and then also continuously monitor, have human in the loop. We need to understand that I'm talking about current situation, right? Maybe the AI models will be so sophisticated in the future that we do not need human in the loop. I don't know. But currently, we need it. So what it means is we need to look at AI behavior models. How are they behaving it? Because they are also self-learning. They can be tampered with. The training data can be, is maybe not suitable at that time. So we need to have a human intervention there, keep training it with fresh data, because the data might be outdated also, and then the outcome is not what you want. So we need to have a look at that. And this also brings us into the other area of keeping your data safe, right? Because how AI models work is it needs a large set of fresh input data to learn and, to create those logic behind it. So that creates, coming back to my first point, it creates a larger attack surface. So we need to be aware what our attack surface look like, where is our data, what is important for us, is the CIA, the basic security triad, in control, yes or not? So that's basically what I want to share. So key insight here is that very layered and defense in depth is the way to go for AI. Of course, we had come a little ahead of that, right? So we said defense in depth, then we said zero trust, but we are going back to now defense in depth. So that's the circle of life, I believe. So we need to do that. And we need to have targeted strategies for us to manage and mitigate this risk, which at the moment we are not completely aware of. So summarizing everything, what we need to do is, AI is making our life very exciting, very helpful, I believe. I'm pro AI. I don't want to ruffle any feathers here, but it's making our life easier, better. And what we need to do is, be aware of the risk that is bringing in, and be mindful of it and be prepared for that, because any new thing that comes up, it comes up with its own pros and cons. And it's the basic thing: secure development, continuous monitoring, look into it, threat modeling. That's the story, right? But take a look at it from a different angle. That's it. That's about it. That's my time also, I think. So any questions?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
All those hands. We'll start in the back.
Hi, thank you for your talk. I've heard some years ago that AI could be great for security. Now it's proven that it really could be, but that AI can't secure itself. So do you think that the traditional cybersecurity roles will now shift to, instead of what the AI now does, securing the AI instead of doing that exact role?
Yeah, there are two ways to look at it, right? So I think this is said everywhere. There is AI for security and then security for AI. So the idea is that we use AI for securing, and then human intervention is still required. Of course, not all roles will be gone, I believe, or shifted, but then the role would be, okay, how do you secure AI? You're right there. And then the roles would be more like, okay, what are the new things that are coming up? How can we stay ahead of it? Because it's still an unknown, a lot of things. So I won't call the role will go, but it's just shifting. So we also need to upskill ourselves and be there.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, some questions. So the first one, you're talking about embedded AI, right? You can think about embedded AI essentially a machine learning or, Gen AI, whatever that is embedded into your software, right?
Correct.
That is how you define it.
Yeah.
For example, Copilot, right?
Yeah.
Now, you also have companies that buy machine learning, data science, AI models, right? Like human resources buy a tool that has something, that use artificial intelligence. You can also think on companies that have a team that is developing models. These are 3 different scenarios. And the way how you secure things is different in any case.
Yeah.
Also because the means are different, right? A big company that have a data science team that is doing model development will need for these modelers to follow best practices, like you say, to create secure code. Whenever a middle small company that is buying a human resources tool don't even have a clue, how to secure the tool.
Yeah.
So what were your recommendations on these 3 scenarios? Because you kind of mix it all and you gave some advice, but again, I have the feeling these are 3 very different scenarios or classes of types of mitigation. What would be your advice on each of the 3?
Yeah, great question. So, how I see AI or how I visualize agents or models is that as employees, right? So you are right. So some are developed in-house, and that means you can do secure by design, you can have the best practices put in there. Then you have some, you are procuring the agents from somebody else. And that means, like, for example, the contractors. Just an analogy, right? Then you apply the same controls for contractors as employees, a little more maybe, because, you have not done enough background checks, I'm not sure. So there would be a little more controls for contractors than your own employees, and that's the same when you're procuring. Of course, you cannot see the logic behind it when you're procuring it, but then you can see, how is it behaving? Then the continuous monitoring part kicks in, and that's also interesting. I'm digressing here, but that's an important thing also for the companies who are selling the agents, because they can do the model theft and, take the IP and copy it for themselves as well.
Ideally, they should be providing a system that is secure, right?
They
or
should,
the means to
course.
secure it. In reality, that's another story.
That's another
and
story.
Compliance to the AI Act and compliance to all kind of regulations, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah. True. So we do continuous monitoring, and then like how we are now requesting our contractors or third-party vendors to provide certification, SOC 2, Type 2, any compliance certification, right? I think there will be more and more coming in the next future that, you have to prove that your model that you're giving is also secure. And the company who is selling should also do that compliance check by themselves regularly to prove that it is not, it is still secure. So that's the second thing. And the third was?
Just developing your own models or buying the software or embedded AI. But I think you can kind of cover everything already.
Yes.
Just want to make a last comment because I know we're short of time about the comment that she made about, will the cybersecurity roles disappear because, supposedly AI is capable of this and that. And I think the answer is very similar to what we currently answer to software developers. How do you vibe code something and 100% sure that this is not crap if you are not a software developer yourself? The same thing applies here.
Yeah.
How can you make sure that this tooling, whenever good it is good if you don't have an actual human first feeding the patterns, right? The things that need to be checked. Then making decisions or feeding the information and knowledge to make the right decisions. And then verifying that it's actually doing what it should be doing.
Yeah.
So I think we're not yet at risk at all.
Yeah, we are safe. But we need to upskill.
But it is a tool. Just like software development, a Copilot. You actually, you can use it to code quicker, but you still need expertise to verify that what you are coding is not a colander of security issues. Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for adding.
Thank you. Sorry, we're out of time. So are you here all day?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, perfect. So she will be taking questions if needed. Give a hand of applause.